So this is your second lesson for this week, and this is a double lesson. So for the boys, you will do this during your double lesson on a Monday, and for the girls, this is your second lesson on Sunday, and you will continue this in your first period on Tuesday. Your essential question and your learning objective are there. Now, your assessment project, which is what I will be talking to you today about, will be due on the 13th of April. Don't worry, you will have plenty of time to work on both your narrative writing portfolio and your assessment project during this week. So task 1, it's just bringing you through your assessment project. You do not need to make any notes in particular in your interactive notebook. Basically, what you are going to be doing is you will be designing a poster. You can do this using paper, colors, printouts of different material from the internet, etc. What you will need to do is you need to design a poster where you explain the different elements and techniques that you use throughout one of your narrative writing portfolio pieces. You must use audio when you present your poster. So you will have to make a video or else give a presentation which explains the different findings and the different points in your narrative writing portfolio. It must feature at least 5 of the following in your presentation. The more you include, the better your grade will be. So here is a selection of some of them. So what are you going to need to do? You're probably still a little bit confused. So at the start of your presentation, you will need to state your name and your purpose. You will need to give brief information about your story, a quick summary. You need to outline the 5 or more elements, techniques that you are going to be focused on in your presentation. You need to highlight or show where they are present. And then you need to give a definition, like if you were to say conflict, what is conflict? What is theme? And then at the end, you need to explain why you chose to use that element or technique. How are you going to do this? So you need to choose one of your narrative pieces. The most appropriate are the potato or nettles. My favorite restaurant will not work for this one. You need to choose either potato or nettles or something you did yourself. You then need to choose the element or techniques you're going to discuss. You need to highlight their purpose. You can use annotations, illustrations, drawing symbols, etc. You need to use color and be creative because you will be awarded for that. I'm going to give you a quick example of something that you might be able to do. So here is the example I gave you in your slides during week 1 after we did the poem Nettles. So what I have done here is I have pictures and I also have some annotations. I have only used some very simple annotations because I am going to continue to develop them in my actual project. So here I go. Hello, my name is Trina, and today I'm going to be talking you through one of my narrative writing portfolio pieces. This piece was inspired by the poem Nettles. A summary of it is, a young boy fell into the nettles, he got hurt, and he ran into his parents. His father was angry that he got hurt, so he came out and he destroyed the nettles. So in my short story, I decided to write from a different point of view. I decided I was going to write about this story from the nettles perspective. So here, on this side, you can see personification. Personification is when you give something that is not living human-like qualities. So here I gave the nettles human-like qualities and I personified them so that they were like soldiers attacking the enemy. Down here I used a lot of imagery. I used the blisters beaded on his tender skin, which you can see here. And I talked about how when the nettles attacked the young boy, that his soft skin, because he is a young child, was blistered and damaged. You can see this clearly because the use of alliteration. blisters beaded on his tender skin. I also used sensory language so that the audience could really hear and see what was happening. Here you can see this verb pierced allows us to hear the cries and screams of the young child. Finally, the last technique or element I'm going to talk about is conflict. And I focused on the conflict between the nettles and the individual who fell into the nettle bed to make the narrative far more exciting, because I understand that conflict is very important, as the plot of a story is always built around conflict. Okay, so that's a brief example for you. You're probably better off drawing this, printing out your story, and using your own annotation, writing, printing pictures, etc. It would probably be far more effective. Task 2 is where you create your plan. You need a plan. It needs to be present in your project, okay? It's one of the elements necessary for your project. Once you are finished planning, you can start to begin to analyze your writing. Okay, if you have any questions, I will be available on Google Hangout to answer them.